What is up, Rally Towel fam? Welcome to the show. We've already got 8 people in here. Let's get it.
We
will waste no time and get to it. Ryan, what's up, brother? Hello, Jeff. Thanks for coming in. Jeff coming in with a hot question right off the rip. Hooters or Twin Peaks? Who you got? Wow. Bruce, what's up, brother?
Fun fact: I've never been to a Twin Peaks.
Really? Okay. Well, I have been to both.
No.
The only one that I know that is relative, I don't know if there's one up here in the Columbus area, but there is one in the Cincinnati area in the Union Center. That's the only one that I've been to. I don't know where any other additional locations are. Yeah. So you remember the used to be Champs. It used to be Champs.
That's a Twin Peaks now.
That's a Twin Peaks.
Get the hell out of here! How long have I been fucking gone? Jesus.
You've been gone for a minute, dude. That got there, like, it was up there when I moved to Westchester, and that was back in 2018. So it's been there. I'm assuming it was there a little bit before I got there. But I will have to say, Chad is off the fucking rails already tonight. I will say the beer is much colder at Twin Peaks. That's what they're known for. The beer below 32
right. They're known for ice cold taps and big old knockers.
Yep, they have that in spades. The beer, that is. Food's pretty good too. Food's pretty good. Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. So if that's the kind of experience that you're going for, then drive on down to your local Twin Peaks.
They're crazy today. They're crazy today. Come on,
Jeff,
now.
You just started chaos in the chat.
Gotta grow, man. Blushing a little bit. I'm so Mary, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I just know I've never been to Twin Peaks. I'm not looking at these tiggle bitties and slooties that everybody's talking about. I'm a loyal man.
So I actually have a fun anecdote from a Twin Peaks. A guy that used to work for me when I was in Enterprise. He had a friend that worked for Twin Peaks for a little bit. And she eventually got fired because they said she got too fat. Just saying.
What?
Yeah, that's what he told me. I mean, I'm not taking that as claim, but that is what I heard. If that's the case, then that's pretty shitty. So, Twin Peaks, the next sponsor, Rally Towel Sports. Not after that comment, unfortunately.
Carp said, "Poor thing." just the shittiest way of saying, like, nah, whatever. Y'all are off the rails. It is
welcome to Town Hall Tuesday.
Town Hall Tuesday.
Holy smokes. This is supposed to be a sports show, good old-fashioned family fun. Not even quite sure how to segue out of this.
So let's start with this. Since Jeff posed the question, let's give one more shout out to Jeff.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
The Bhv Legacy Foundation. Y'all were unbelievable. We were able to donate, I believe it was $430 to charity.
Yep.
Specifically to the Bhv Legacy. And who knows? Maybe when they have that memorial, you'll see a little Rally Towel Sports banner, and maybe the 3 of us out there drinking some beers on the course. We'll see.
I mean, I've been there for the last 2 years, so I plan on making it my 3rd year. So we'll do whatever we can to make it happen. Jeff did send us a really nice note today, thanking us for all the support and everything that we were able to accomplish. But it wouldn't have been possible without you guys. So really, thanks to everybody for their participation. Excuse me. And coming out. I know there were a few people that were in the running towards the end. Did Jeff end up winning? Is that correct?
Yep. So Jeff ended up winning, and then Caroline ended up getting 2nd place.
And then my little cousin was in the running too. I know he was pretty amped about it when I was in Chi-Town over the weekend with them. He was like, he was like, "Hey, cousin Bobby, how much money do I win if I win?" And I was like, I don't know, buddy. I don't know, but it's a pretty good chunk of change. Ben told me not to get my hopes up, but yeah, I was in Chicago over the weekend. Quick side note here: I got to see the Bulls play the Heat in the United Center. What an experience. I know I shared it with Corey and Todd. I do have some photos that I plan on uploading. Good question, Brian. We'll get to that in a second. But no, it was an awesome experience. If you guys ever have a chance to get to United Center, please go. It was just super cool. The Miami Heat played really well too. I know I'm not usually on the Wednesday podcast when we actually talk about basketball, but I'll tell you who impressed me the most was Tyler Hero. That man played absolutely out of his mind coming off the bench for the Heat. He dropped like 30 points, and that dude was making shots from everywhere on the court. So
nice.
It was just a really cool experience.
Shout out to the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah. There you
Thanks,
go.
Bobby.
Todd's background is not blurred because this is a different app, and I don't know if that feature exists. We were able to do it,
but don't get used to this background for too terribly long, because Mary and I will be moving in the very, very near future. So
nice. You guys got a place
you'll
picked
see
out
a different
yet?
Background. No, we're actually going to narrow it down this weekend. So
very good.
Hopefully by the end of this month, we'll be in a new spot, and I'll have a little office, if you will, to do some Rally Tell sports stuff and wait for whenever Gotcha number 2 rolls around for Declan to have his own bedroom and for him or her to have their own bedroom. That's
yeah, man. That's awesome. I'm gonna lose my neighbor. Again, you're always moving away from me.
Very likely I won't.
Do what now?
It won't be too far this time. I'll still be in Columbus. I said it won't be too far. I'll still be within a short drive away, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, back on topic here. Jeff came up with a comment: $840 to the foundation, thanks to Rally Towel Sports. Stop shortchanging and saying 400. So Jeff did take the winnings from the event, and he donated everything straight to the charity that he runs with 2 of his good friends. So yeah, I mean, I guess we can basically not shortchange it, and so we're almost at our $1,500 goal. We're almost there, guys. We're well over 1,000 at this point. So hopefully with this next pool that we're running, which is also going to another great charity, we'll get us to that 1,500 mark on the goal. Hopefully we blow it out of the water. If we can blow it out of the water by April, who knows what we can do this year. We'll have to raise our sights a little bit higher. But more details on that to follow here in a little bit when we start talking about the Masters. But I want to talk about the Reds first. Will came in with some questions on the post that we had today. First things first with the Reds, Shogo Akiyama got released. Todd, take it away. I don't really have anything to say about this guy. I'm very disappointed, to say the least. Oh, we lost Todd. Todd, are you there? Todd is frozen in time. There we go. I think we got you back now. I can see your eyeballs moving.
What is going on there? Good. My internet connection got a little sketch there. Yeah. So Shogo Akiyama. So let's see. As the Reds signed him to a 3-year, $21 million deal. The Reds will still have to pay Shogo the last $8 million of his contract. I think that for the Reds, their first Japanese signing was a huge disappointment. There are a lot of people that would say that his limited at-bats and inconsistent playing time led to kind of his demise in Major League Baseball. But I'll be straight with you guys. I think Jesus. I think Shogo just wasn't fit to be a Major League Baseball player. I think that's what it comes down to.
That was going to be my comment. He
He
couldn't handle the big league pitching.
No, he could not handle Major League Baseball pitching. There was too much movement. People weren't throwing because he's a great hitter to the opposite side of the field. That's where most of his hits, if you look statistically, most of his hits were to left center or left field. He could not pull the ball at the major league level. He could barely slap it to second base at the major league level. And he didn't really. He played a good center field, but it's not a difference to get him on the field. He doesn't make an impact in the lineup. So,
Right.
in Major League Baseball, if you're not making an impact on both sides of the ball these days, you're specifically on the offensive side of the ball. You don't get a spot on the roster, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Aquino makes more sense than him. As crazy as that sounds, is because he crushes left-handed pitching. He could take care of that, right?
And he
like
hits
that's
it
the
a
big
long
thing.
way.
You have a guy that can come up, right? That could come up in a tough spot, and if say they're facing the Pirates or something, and
I think we lost Todd again there for a brief moment, chat. Bear with us. But no, Todd, I think you hit it absolutely nail on the head, man. He was a guy we invested a lot of money in, just because he had a lot of hype coming from overseas. He had a lot of success as well, but he just didn't pan out. And it's crazy to think that the difference in gameplay is that much different from Japan to the major leagues. We've seen a lot of guys come over and transition very well from that. I mean, obviously, this is in no way, shape, or form a comparison, but Ichiro transitioned and he still had one of the greatest hitting careers that you could put on paper. And it's just I don't know. Maybe the disparity between pitching in both leagues is just that far apart now with the way that major league pitching's gotten. I don't know. It just seems like pitching in the major leagues has become much more advanced. And hitting's just not catching up around the world. It's one of those examples that you continue to talk about where hitting's just never going to catch up. And I think Shogo is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it sucks because the Reds invested a large chunk of change in a guy over 3 years, thinking that he would be. I know, I saw that too. He would be the answer in center field.
Guys got us rolling tonight,
or right field, wherever they deemed him fit. He just didn't fit in anywhere. And for that, especially last year with the amount of boppers that they had in that lineup, it didn't make sense to put him in there, right?
No, not at all.
He started the season off with. Yeah, he started the season off with some injuries, and then, just never caught wind. Castellanos had a great year. Laker had a great year. Indy had a great year. You guys are outrageous tonight.
Just straight roasted right now. Sheesh. Corey, thank you for the compliment on my hat. I appreciate it. I actually do really love this hat. I love the two-tone hats. Like I love my Orioles hat. That's kind of the same way, but it's all black and then white here, and got the O's logo, the old school one. I'm gonna try to do my best to keep mixing it up with the hats on stream. I kind of got away from that, but yeah, the Reds obviously have some work to do. Having to eat that contract sucks, but I think it's for the better. Will came in with a question on the post that we had put out a little bit earlier today. On as far as what you guys want to hear us talk about. His question was extremely thoughtful. Assuming it's even possible, what do the Reds need to do in April to exceed expectations? Moreover, to win fans back. I don't even know if at this point if we have expectations as Reds fans right now. I know with the way that the offseason has gone, I don't really have any expectations as far as what defining success for them in April, like what that's going to look like. Todd, what do you think? What does success look like for the Reds in April?
They gotta win. They have to be over 500 at the end of the month, right? That at least sets some sort of tone that moves that were made didn't completely squander the year, right? And And look, you lose Jesse Winker. That's a huge loss to the offense. You lose Castellanos. That's a huge loss to that offense. And then you replace it with guys like Tommy Pham and Donovan Solano, who aren't necessarily the same caliber of production, but do provide, Solano was a silver slugger in 2019. He's not a slouch at the plate. And just a short time ago, Tommy Pham was on the cusp of being an all-star year in and year out. Now, again, I'm not comparing, these signings to being able to do what Winker and Castellanos were able to do for the Reds last year, but it at least shows that they're trying to provide some sort of offense. And look, Tommy Pham came out and said it. This contract is for him, right? This is a do or die year for Tommy Pham. If he doesn't hit 30 home runs and knock in 90 runs, he doesn't get a good major league contract after this. This is either his sink or swim year. So I think we will see a lot of offensive production from him specifically. But I think in terms of winning fans back, I think the ship has kind of sailed, unfortunately. I think the fans are really pissed off that, the highlight of this lockout was that the Reds were one of the 5 franchises that were proponents of it. And as fans, it makes you step back and think, like, why would you do this to us, right? Why would you want to take baseball away from a community where opening day is bigger than fucking Christmas in Cincinnati, right? Like, that is the day where everybody comes out and you support the Reds. And that's your guaranteed sellout date. And as of today, they're still not completely sold out for their home opener against the Guardians. And that's kind of crazy to think about because, I mean, you got Joe Burrow throwing out the first pitch. You got Zach Taylor that's going to be the catcher. You got Jamar Chase giving Jonathan Dia the Rookie of the Year award. Barry Larkin is the parade captain of the parade. Like, there's some big names going into opening day for the Reds, and it's still not sold out. And Nick Krall and Castellini are saying, "Oh, it's just because the season was delayed." Well, guess what? You fucking did that. You delayed the season. It's crazy. Like, you can't wonder why these things happen and then take baseball away from a community, right? Cincinnati's baseball is embedded into Cincinnati, right? It's an integral part. It's the origin of Major League Baseball. And then you attempt to take that away for a longer period of time than desired, I guess you would say. And of course people get pissed off. And then you take away the guy that was one of your all-stars last year, and Jesse Winker, and then you don't make a good counteroffer for Nick Castellanos. So yeah, of course everybody's pissed off. There's no getting fans back to being in the Reds corner. It's going to take some time. It's going to have to be. There's going to be drastic things, and Ryan is in here saying it. The fire Castellini, right? There's a lot of people that are saying that Castellini and Nick Krall need to be removed from the Reds equation, and at that point in time, does that bring fandom back? I don't know, because who's to say that the next owner of the Reds doesn't pick up where Castellini left off? It's just a shitty circumstance.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ, Jeff.
But no, I'm just finding out from chat and what you said that the Bengals are going to be there and they're still not selling out. And it's the first opening day that I can remember in my lifetime where it was not a hot ticket. I mean, it's honestly, it's sad. Drastic changes need to happen.
Yeah.
If the Reds want to make changes and get fans back on their side, they've got to start making gigantic changes. There's no more, signing a huge contract at the All-Star break that's going to win us back. We need to see changes in management. We need to see changes in the front office, because obviously the front office has a lot more to do with winning baseball games than most people think. And you cannot win baseball games if you're not putting talent on the field. Not to take anything away from the guys that they're going to put on the opening day roster, but it's not a championship team. These guys are good enough to get to the major league level, which is a very tough thing to do. Not taking anything away from these guys, but as Reds fans, you want better. You want guys that are going to win you games. You know, are going to go out there and put on a good show and keep you in playoff contention. And they've got a few guys on this team that are at that caliber of a player, and they've got a lot of people on this team that aren't, that still have some growing to do. And that's fine, but we're done with the growing. We're done with watching people grow and then us selling them. We want to see a complete team put together on the field for an entire 162 game season and see the playoffs more than just the wild card. We want to win a fucking playoff series. Like that's just what it has to be at this point. And in order, I mean, that's what you got to do to get the Reds fans back. You got to put a team on the field that's going to make it past the first round of the playoffs. So what you got. I mean, that's what they got to do to get me back. Because I'm not going to a game until I see some changes.
Yeah, it doesn't help either that parts of the trades that they made are not healthy. Like Mike Minor's not going to be ready to start the year. Justin Dunn's not going to be ready to start the year. So like the two pieces of the trades that they made this offseason that were major league ready, or two of the three, I guess I should say, are not going to be ready. Right. So you give away your all-star and Winker. And look, trading Suarez doesn't necessarily it hurts my feelings in the sense that just his clubhouse presence was a big impact on the Reds' success. Right. Everybody loved him on the Reds.
Yeah, he had good energy.
But good team. Yeah, but he's not even gonna start in Seattle. Mm-hmm. There's a good chance that he's a DH and then fills in at third base. There's too much young talent in Seattle that they've built that they haven't traded for, that they need to figure out if it's going to pan out or not. That's just where they're at. But yeah, dude, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's for a lot of people, it's going to be change in leadership, right? And not on field leadership, front office leadership. That's going to be the thing that flips people back over to saying like, all right, well, at least they're trying to get back in good graces with the community, because shit, the COVID year was the best chance that they had, and they still didn't win a playoff game, right?
And like, that was the most complete team that they'd had in a long time.
Yeah, I would say even they were more complete than the Red team that won the World Series in 1990. That team that they put on the field in 2020 with that rotation was unreal, and the fact that they couldn't scrape a run together in that series against the Braves was absolutely devastating. I mean, like we talked about it. I very clearly remember you and I having a conversation after that second Braves game and going, "What the hell happened? What do we want? Like, how did this go down this way?" And there was some small recovery. You get Jonathan India winning Rookie of the Year, but what's to say if he doesn't have another 2020 year that he's a piece of the puzzle that they're willing to depart with, right? Because they're clearly. They're not loyal to who they develop in their farm system. So, and if they can get more prospects back than what they have, which is clearly what they're focusing on, because most of the trades that they've made have been built around building the farm system. Castellini said in that fucking interview that went from the third worst to the top 10. Which, by the way, the person that put that together is no longer within the Reds organization. He left because he did not like the things that were happening within the organization.
Shocker.
So Castellini taking credit for that is a very ballsy move, because anybody who has read anything about the Reds in the last 7 months knows that Kyle Boddy did everything for that farm system, and then Castellini and Nick Krall took all the credit for it. So, yeah, it's a hard time to be a Reds fan, and I look, Jeff asked the question, how far below 500 at the All-Star break? 15 plus. I don't think it's that bad. There's a lot of bad. Look, the Cubs are still not good. The Pirates are the worst team in the National League by a long shot. And realistically, if the Brewers don't produce offensively, they're not a great team either, right? I mean, their pitching is what's going to win them games, and if they can't produce on the offensive side, it's going to be the Cardinals and then everybody else. So right. My guess is that the Reds go in the All-Star break like 6 games back, because they always play really well up until the All-Star break, and then the demise happens afterwards.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I mean, as far I don't think 15 is too terribly far of a stretch. I wouldn't be shocked if it was at least 8 to 10. I just don't think they've got a great team right now. But Todd said it. There's a lot of teams in the NL Central that are bad. The Reds being one of them. So who knows? We could win a lot of interdivisional matchups, and lose the games that we're supposed to lose. But we'll see. It's all gonna depend on beating the bad teams. That's it. Are we better than the?
I mean,
are we better than the worst teams?
Right, and the NL Central has really done nothing to improve. I think the Cardinals are one of the teams this offseason that have literally done nothing. They're just basically taking the roster that they had last year and saying, all right, let's do it one more time, right? And, the Cubs signed Seiya Suzuki from Japan. They gave him a huge contract. That's really their only major signing of this offseason. Again, the Pirates have done nothing. And it's again, I don't know. I think the NL Central is the worst team. It's the worst division in Major League Baseball right now.
Absolutely,
and that sucks because 100%. the team that I follow and love with as much of my heart as I can right now is a part of that. It's an abomination to Major League Baseball how bad the NL Central is.
Yeah. And Corey, to answer your question, how many times have you seen Reds are going to surprise people this year on Twitter and laugh hysterically? I've seen it so much that I don't laugh anymore. Because I know what's going to happen. It's every year. Every year they have a hot run into May, into June, and then All-Star break, and then a complete and utter just explosion of the foundation, and it's all gone. And then we're back to square one.
For those of you that were here at the beginning of Rally Tau Sports, when Bobby and I talked about the Reds, we were posed a question at the All-Star break. What is going to happen for the Reds, or what is it going to take for them to get to the playoffs? And we were sitting in the room that Bobby is sitting in, and Bobby said, it doesn't feel good for me because every single year they blow up after the All-Star break. And last year, the Padres and the Reds had two of the biggest blunders of the year of the 2020s. So it just feels the exact same. It feels the exact same. I don't know. Jesus.
Damn, Jeff.
That man is on one tonight.
He most certainly is, but and it's just it's every year with the Reds, man. It's I want to have a year where the Reds surprise me. They are so predictable every year, even when they have good teams. There's always some part that is their Achilles heel that they just have no defense for, and it always turns. But it's always at the same time. It's always the same way. I don't know if there's a black cloud over Great American Ballpark, but man, just every year they start off slow. They get hot by the All-Star break. All-Star break happens. They fall apart. They have a quick run at the end of August into September, and by that time it's too late.
It's too late.
But this year,
games back.
But this year, I don't think we're going to even be close to that. We'll probably be 5 to 10 games sub 500 going into the All-Star break, and then after that, by the time we finish the season, I would bet we're probably at least 20 to 25 games below 500. That's my call.
I still think the Reds win 75 games. I do. I do firmly believe that.
I don't see it.
Again, they're in the worst division in baseball. The odds of them winning 70 plus are much better. If they were in the NL East, I would tell you that they're going to lose 100 games because the NL East is so ridiculous. Even the Marlins are better than the Reds this year, which is crazy. But the NL Central is so bad. I think that the Reds have a chance. The record's not going to necessarily reflect what is actually happening with the Reds, right? That's kind of the point that I'm getting at. I think the record is going to show, like, the Reds front office is going to say, we won 75 games and this is a down year. We saved $40 million the last year's, salary cap. Well, no,
that's exactly where I was going to take it. They're going to, if that's what happens, that's how they're going to sell it. That's how they're going to say this year was a win. And that's fucking bullshit. It's absolute horseshit. And
It's terrible.
that's the leg that Castellini's going to stand on. Because he is that guy.
Well, he's cheap just in general, right? Like the dude's a terrible interview. He is not in the public eye at all as in terms of just being owner for the Reds, and he sits from a hidden throne and throws out all these one-liners that try to make the community feel better. And he's just a fucking asshole. Like it just sucks. You can't promise a community a championship and then renege on it when the rubber meets the road, because that's exactly what he's
done. I can tell you what he does like, Ryan, as a fact. He does not like to win. That's for damn sure. All right. Does anybody else have anything on the Reds? I'm done talking about these sorry sacks of shit. That's just where I'm at right now. I'm a jaded Reds fan. We'll see how the start of the season goes. But it's not shaping up to be pretty. Will had a question, a second question on top of the expectations for the Reds, and that was Tiger Woods' chances at the Masters. Now, for those of you that haven't seen it, Tiger Woods made headlines today. I don't know if you guys saw the photos from his practice round, but it looked like it was Sunday with the following that this man had at a practice round at Augusta. It was probably 20 rows deep. These people walking 20 rows deep down every hole. Thousands of people on this golf course watching him play a practice round. So if there was any questions about him not playing, I think those got squashed. He's definitely going to play. And he did mention that, he thinks he has a great shot at winning. Todd, what are your thoughts?
I think it's, first of all, the fact that he is coming back and playing after basically almost losing his leg is unreal. I was just blown away that he's going to play again. I never thought we would see Tiger in the Masters. I really didn't. But I don't think it's necessarily going to come down to his ability to golf. Is he going to be able to fucking walk all those holes? That's 72 holes of golf, right? Like that's a lot on the leg that's basically been ripped apart and rebuilt twice. I believe he's had two surgeries post that accident. So I have no concerns about his ability to golf. I have concerns about his ability to withstand walking all those holes. Yeah, the stamina of being able to play golf, like play several days consecutively, right? If you look at Tiger Woods and just his stature, he's beefed up even more than he was before the accident. He's big.
He's in shape.
And I don't worry about that. He's gonna be able. He's still gonna do the same shit he did before, right? But when hole 15 happens on Saturday, what is he gonna be able to fucking handle it, right? That's my biggest concern with him. Regardless of that, I am really excited to see him golf again. I have missed seeing Tiger Woods swing a golf club. He is an athlete for us and within our generation that people like that just don't come along very often. Like we're very fortunate that we're in the midst of two guys and a female that have withstood the glory that they have over their professional careers. And I don't know. I could see him getting into Friday and basically just calling it. That's something I could foresee happening. Just not being able to stay on the course and to put in the work just because his body's not into it, right? It's not. I don't think it's a mental thing for him at this point. I think it's a real pure physical thing.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I know for sure is that we have had, whether we recognize it or not, we have had the opportunity to watch some of the greatest athletes in their professions growing up. We've gotten to see Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, LeBron James. These are three guys that have been at the top of their Kobe Bryant. People
Yeah.
Shaq, like people, even Rory McIlroy, I'd put him in there. He had a pretty awesome stretch of golf. In the tennis world, Rafa Nadal, um,
Serena
just
Williams.
Serena Williams. Like
She's the
there's been
greatest, she's the greatest female athlete of all time. I don't think anybody.
there's so many great athletes that we have had the pleasure to watch, and a lot of people that I know a lot of people that don't like to watch golf. And for me, it's bananas because if you've ever picked up a golf club and swung it or played a round of golf, you know how incredibly difficult that sport is. And the only person that you're playing is yourself. And in my opinion, that's one of the toughest competitors you'll ever have in your life. And to be able to do it at the level that he's done it for as long as he has, it's just absolutely Joey Chestnut. I'll give you that, Josh. Joey Chestnut.
Look,
the dude's at the top of his. The dude can shove 76 wieners down his gullet in 10 minutes. I mean, that's fucking amazing.
As a person that has done food challenges and pushed my body to that physical limit, the fact that he can do that, and it's not just hot dogs, right? The dude wins everything. A ton of major league eating contests. It's insane, and I think that I'm sure, Josh, maybe there was some joking involved in that, but there's a lot of people that bring him into the equation of best athletes of the day, of like the 21st century. And it's hard to say, like, to even imagine that eating got him to that point. But I mean, he's a staple. he's a staple of the 4th of July now. Like, I mean, he's just as American as American flag. It's how consistent he is now.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's definitely in that conversation as well, Jeff. I don't remember watching him as much as I remember watching these guys because I was, we were still pretty young when he was in his prime. When he was winning his championships, I was 6, 7.
5. So, 5 through
5,
7.
6, 7. So don't have as solid of a memory as that. But I still watched his games. I remember that. It was really cool getting to watch him play, although I don't have a great recollection of it. I'm just talking about people that I've actually seen play live. Like, I've seen Tiger Woods in person. I've seen LeBron James. Like, I've watched these guys play. And watching Tiger Woods swing a golf club is one of the fucking coolest moments of my life. It actually happened up here in Columbus at the Memorial. I was literally 20 feet away from the guy, and just watching him swing a club and the sound that it makes, it's just so pure. But back to him and his odds at the Masters. This guy is a competitor. If he starts it on Thursday, this dude will finish. The only reason he won't finish is because he doesn't make the cut. That's the only way he doesn't play all 72 holes. And I think this guy's got something to prove. I think if he wins, I think this could quite potentially be the last tournament that he ever plays in. I think he wants to prove that he can come back and he can still do it, but he's got nothing left to prove. He's got 15 majors right now. If he wins this one, he'll be at 16. The odds of him winning 2 more and tying Nicklaus after this are very, very far in outer space. I think if he plays well, I think he's done. I would predict a retirement if he won. That would be my guess. Because what else does he have left to prove? His body's already been through hell twice. Back in 2008, when he won the U.S. Open, and he was playing with a thrown out back, the back half of that tournament, Saturday and Sunday, and he still pulled it out. He gutted through it. Obviously, that was 14 years ago. It's a much different man now and a much different body. But, I think that all has to do with your mentality and the way that you attack it. And the only way he doesn't finish is if he doesn't make the cut, in my opinion. As far as winning, we'll see. But, I don't know. I'm super excited to watch it. I'll have it pulled up on my phone all day, Thursday, Friday. Probably won't do a whole lot of streaming this weekend on the gaming page so I can sit down in front of my TV and watch this tournament. I'm gonna watch it start to finish. Like it's the one of the greatest sporting events that's ever held each year. And the COVID year when they didn't have it, I almost cried. The fact that I had to wait till October was bullshit. But yes, I will be watching. Charlie about to be better. What do you mean, Josh? Oh, you're talking about his son, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie's a beast. If you guys haven't seen this kid swing a golf club, he's I think he swings it better than his dad does. He's already got all the mannerisms. Like this kid would take me out on a golf course and beat my ass. And we could be playing from the same tees. He would still kill me. You know, this kid, he's gonna be great. There's no doubt in my mind he'll be on the tour when he turns 18, maybe even sooner. Two kids to watch out for. You've got Charlie Woods, and then you've got little John Daly. That kid can swing a golf club as well. I don't know if he'll have
he's 18 already, I think. Isn't he?
He's got to be close. I don't know. He's getting there. He's getting there. But that kid is very good at golf as well. I cannot wait to see those two battle it out on tour and hopefully carry on the legacies of, you know, maybe he'll be ripping heaters and slamming Miller Lights. Hopefully he stays away from the coke. But
I love John Daly. John Daly is what I think I would have been like if I never met Mary and I somehow became a professional athlete. I think that's what I would have ended up being like. Just drinking beers all day long, ripping multiple packs of cigarettes a day, going to the bar afterwards. Have you heard the John Daly, like the dude picking up John Daly's tab at the bar story?
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Chad, have you guys heard this? It's a really good story. If you haven't, we'll do our best to tell it. If you haven't, please let us know in the comments if you haven't heard it. It's an absolute banger. This dude is a legend. I mean, even to this day, he's still on the course ripping Miller Lights and swinging golf clubs. I saw a TikTok where somebody had a tee in their mouth and he took the driver and just hit it, no problems. I'm just like, if it was John Daly, I may put it, you know, may do that, but that's a lot of trust laying down. Let somebody swing a golf club over your head at 120 miles an hour. I sure as hell wouldn't trust any of my friends to do it. That's for damn sure.
No way. Take loose some teeths.
But, well, long story short, nobody's commenting. We'll go ahead and get into it quickly. Well, it was after a tournament that he won. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes to the bar and he spends, I don't know, it was like 20 or 30 grand. He was buying drinks for everybody, obviously slamming them himself, ripping lines of coke in the bathroom, just partying his ass off. Guy behind him says, "Don't worry, I got it. I'll pick up your tab. You played a great tournament." He's like, "Buddy, you don't want this tab. You don't want it." He's like, "No, it's all right. I got it. No worries." He's like, "No, I promise you don't want this tab." And he's like, "No, don't worry about it. I got it." And then he tells him who he is. I can't remember who he is.
Shit.
I can't remember the guy who picked it up.
If you guys want to look it up, he did the interview with Pat McAfee, and he tells Pat McAfee the story. Yeah, that's what it's from.
Yep.
And
go look it up.
Basically, it's like one of the directors of it's somebody that works with it, like one of the main sponsors of the tournament that he won. That's who it was. He's like, "You're fucking John Daly. I'll buy all your drinks tonight." John Daly turns around with like 4 beers in his hand and goes, "You don't want this tab, bud." Just like a true baller. Like, "You don't want this tab. You don't want this tab, bud." I love it.
Yeah. Just an absolute freaking legend, man. But no, I'm super excited for the tournament. Can't wait to see how that foils out. What else we got tonight? Chat, what other questions do you have? I know we had some semi-Reds news today. Todd Frazier did announce his retirement. Not to get back on the sad parts of the Reds right now. Excuse me. But yeah, he did retire. absolute legend here in Cincinnati. I think the coolest moment was probably the All-Star game when he won the Derby with his brother or his dad throwing him the balls.
His dad.
His dad. That's right. Yeah. I don't know. Great career for that guy though.
Yeah, it's crazy because he was back-to-back All-Star, and then just something happened in his, like some hitch in his swing happened when because you got to remember the year after he won the home run derby, he got traded to the White Sox, right? He was no longer a Red after the home run derby, and he goes to Chicago and hits 40 home runs. You're like, holy shit, this guy's going to be a 40 home run. It's going to be done all over again. You know what I mean? And something happened. He got injured in 2016, and then from then on, he basically was just a role player and kind of filled in. He filled in for I think he finished his career with 5 different teams in his last 5 years. It would have been really awesome for him to retire as a Red, though.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have given him the 1-day contract or whatever to let him retire as a Red. But Lance McAllister posed a question, Bobby. I want to see what you think. Does Todd Frazier make it into the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame?
No.
Really? So I would say yes, solely because the year that you host the All-Star game, he wins a home run derby. That was a huge moment for the city of Cincinnati. And you got to remember the Reds Hall of Fame isn't quite so strenuous, right? It's the impact the player made on the community, and then you throw some statistics on top of that, right? Most of the Reds greats they're already in the Reds Hall of Fame. You don't have to worry about those guys getting in. But
you make a fair point.
I think Todd Frazier. Yeah, I think Todd Frazier makes it in. It doesn't make sense for him not to, right? Like that was a huge moment for Cincinnati because he was their only All-Star for that year too. Like,
yeah,
he gets in the All-Star, he gets in the home run derby, wins it on a walk-off too, right? It wasn't just the fact that he won. He won it on a walk-off. So like that was a huge moment for Cincinnati.
It was pretty.
I think he makes it in because of that. Yeah, and I remember watching it on TV and going absolutely nuts when we were living up in West Carrollton, watching the home run derby together, and both of us fucking losing our minds because he had just won.
Yeah. No, you make a good point. I was just thinking more so what he did in his career statistically. I didn't take the community aspect into it, and he was one of the Reds players that I can remember in a long time. Maybe Brandon Phillips was a little bit more connected to the community, but Todd was too, and he did a really nice job of just being a guy that was super approachable, a guy that you felt like you could have a conversation with. And yeah, you said it. He did a lot for the community.
He did.
Josh said
he was an integral part of Cincinnati.
Yeah. Josh said that the best time of baseball for you was the Sosa McGuire home run race, which I mean, we've talked about that time and time again, that's what brought baseball back to life. It was
Josh
a very
also made a comment
earlier.
He made a comment earlier to bring back steroids, and honestly, at this point, I'm not really against it, right? It doesn't really matter that much anymore. Seats aren't going to get filled. I mean, suspended first person for PEDs, for infertility drugs. So the Milwaukee Brewers are without their open day catcher for 60 games. But I think we will see more of the testing of the foreign substances and less of the popping for PEDs moving forward for the next couple of years. That is purely my prediction. There's no evidence to support that. I just think that that's the way that baseball is.
They're not openly testing for PEDs right now, right?
Well, so everybody got tested. So a part of the lockout, because there was no doping policy during the lockout. When the lockout concluded, the doping policy went back into effect, which is why Pedro Severino tested positive and is suspended because he was like one of the first 50 people that that got tested for steroids. But yeah, I just don't think we'll see as much of that over the next couple of years. I think we'll see them crack more down on the pitchers using foreign substances while they're on the bump. They're focused way more on changing the rules and making sure that the shift they get into the shift rule, they get into the timing rule. They're going to put a lot of emphasis on sponsor teams showing sponsorships. That's a huge thing for baseball. That's probably one of the biggest parts for Major League Baseball is the additional revenue that's going to come with two logos that aren't yours on a uniform.
Right.
And you're going to see a huge focus on that over the next couple of years, making sure that those logos get as much attention on national TV as possible.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Josh. I mean, I'll speak for both of us. We know baseball is not the same right now, and we're we're hoping as fans it gets back to a point where it's exciting again. If they were smart, stop testing for that shit. How dumb can they be? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a personal choice, right? If you want to put that in your body and do that, then that's what you do. If you don't, then you got to find a way to compete, outside of using them, and I think when posed with it, you will see players, fall to the, hey, I'm going to take them because everybody else is, because that's how you stay competitive. That's how you get the money. That's how you put up the statistics to get those large contracts. So if you stop testing for it, I would bet probably 85 to 90% of players will start using some sort of performance enhancing drug to increase their level of gameplay. So, it's, I don't know. It's a tough time that we're in, man. Do we want to make baseball exciting again at the expense of the players' bodies? That's, I don't know. I'm in a weird spot on that mentally right now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you even look at like the world of powerlifting, right?
Ronnie
They
Coleman,
are, yeah,
the dude's in a
but
wheelchair.
but they're back to being less strict on the doping testing, right? There are now professional lifting competitions that do not drug test. There are two parts, or there's really three parts of the bodybuilding world now, or the powerlifting world. There is the doping-free powerlifting league, and then there is a powerlifting competition that kind of travels around the country, including the Arnold Classic, where they don't test anybody for steroids. Because why would Arnold Schwarzenegger ever test anyone for steroids? The dude's been using them for 50 years at this point. And then there's the third part of like Mr. Olympia stuff like that, where they're not testing those guys anymore either, or they're not testing them until after Mr. Olympia. And then what are they going to do then? They're going to strip the title, because then the next person, he probably tests positive. Next person tests positive. Next person tests positive. Now you're at the 7th place finisher at Mr. Olympia and saying like, oh, here's your medal. Well, now we don't do it anymore. I'm with you. It's a personal choice if you want to do performance enhancing drugs to get better at your craft. But I still think Barry Bonds is one of the best examples of steroids in the history of doping usage in professional sports. The dude was one of the best hitters in baseball before he took steroids, right? He really was. When he was on Pittsburgh in the late 80s, early 90s, he was still one of the top 10 best players in the game. He just went from being a 40-40 guy, but to he could hit 60, 70 home runs over a decade. So it is what it is. Like, guys want to do that to their bodies. The ramifications of it. Science is completely up to date on what happens when you take the wrong performance enhancing drugs. And there is a lot of science, and there's a lot of medically verified articles that could tell you how to complete a cycle of a performance enhancing supplement the right way without completely creating detriment to your body, right? King Caminiti is a perfect example of someone who had literally no control of what he was doing to his body. It caused his heart to explode. He died, right? That was a guy that had no consideration of what he was putting into his body. He just wanted to be the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, et cetera, et cetera. Most of these guys are smart enough now. They know that they need to know what every professional athlete pretty much knows every single thing they're putting into their body, down to what vitamins they take at what time, right? All that shit's scheduled out for them now. Everybody has that scheduled out for them now. So what's to say that guys don't get on an appropriate cycle and they do it for the right amount of time and they get better, right? And to your point, Bobby, yeah, maybe 85, 90% of the guys do it. And, but realistically, it's not like all the guys that test positive, you're like, yeah, I knew they were taking steroids. I knew those guys were on performance enhancing drugs. Who would have ever thought D. Gordon would be somebody that would test positive for steroids? Not me. D. Gordon's 5'7", at $145 on his best day.
Wet,
tested
like
positive
dripping
for steroids
wet.
twice. Yeah, tested positive for steroids twice. Did that make him a better player? Not really. He still was a very average. He had one good year. It was the year before he tested positive for steroids or performance enhancing supplements, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. These guys know what they're doing. If they are smart and they understand the ramifications of what they're doing, which there's enough people in these guys' corners that they know now, just let them fucking do it. Who cares? And if it means more home runs, that probably means more asses in the seats. Because I'll definitely go to more games if more home runs get hit again. I'd love to see Joey Gallo hit 70 home runs. I think that would be awesome. He's the next closest person that we'll see in this time of the game that could do something like that. But he definitely cannot do it right now on his own. I'll just say that. You don't get to 70 home runs in today's game without some help. You don't get to 50 home runs in today's game without some help. You don't do it. You don't see it anymore. You don't see guys consistently hitting 55 plus home runs like we did in the 90s and the early 2000s. There's a reason for that. Pitching is just better. Guys strike out more. There's a fucking shit on Carlos Santana 97.8% of the time. Yeah, they don't. You get out more often. So once you take the shift away, maybe we do see more home runs again. But I don't know. I'm so sick of the stigma that comes around performance enhancing supplements and people who just don't know what they're talking about being against it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to form an opinion on what steroids do to the body or performance enhancing supplements do to the body, you better have some fucking facts on why you're not with it, because most of the stuff that you're doing when you're doing these cycles, it's the long-term adverse effects are very minimal in comparison to what Barry Bonds and McGuire and Sosa and Giambi and King Kim and Eddie and all those guys were doing to their bodies in the 90s. It is significantly different now. There's not guys there's no Jose Cansecos in baseball anymore, right? We don't worry about people like that anymore. All these guys are educated. They know what, for the most part, or they have someone with them that's educated. It wouldn't happen that way.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Chat, you guys have any other questions for us this evening? Is there anything we didn't cover that we were planning on talking about?
No, we hit the big facts. I mean, we got opening day of hey. Again, they have tiny nuts because they were cycling for 6 months at a time. Read Jose. If you guys have never read Jose Canseco's autobiography, I highly suggest it.
One last thing, basketball. Well, what do you want us to talk about there, sir? Kansas did win the national championship. We didn't talk about that already. It's pretty good.
Well, we're going to be covering a lot of basketball tomorrow, Josh.
Ooh, that's a good question. T-Mac or Penny?
Ooh,
man,
Tracy McGrady. I'll take Tracy McGrady all day.
I would take Penny if Penny stayed healthy. I think
that's what I was going to say. The blue chip Penny, right? And I'm talking like him and Shaq on the Magic. Penny was pretty special because he was also like a 6'7" point guard, which you hadn't seen that since like Magic Johnson, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can argue that T-Mac had the more complete career.
I just think Tracy McGrady is the better overall scorer too. That dude was prolific with the ball when he was in Houston and Toronto. Vince Carter, like, look, him and Vince in Toronto was pretty crazy, but like T-Mac in Houston, that dude was dropping 30 plus a game.
He was
a
incredible.
prime example of. He is also a guy that injuries plagued his career and caused him to miss out on some significant time.
Yeah.
I think he's a horrible analyst. He sucks at doing that. I'm glad he doesn't do it as much anymore. I also think Penny Hardaway is not a great coach. Memphis has several sanctions, and he is the center of all of it right now. And NIL exists, and he's still getting in trouble. So it is what it is. But Josh is right. Blue Chip Penny, when he was coming out of Memphis State, that dude was he played so fast, and I think that was the big. I think Penny was probably a decade before the time of where the NBA was up to speed with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like Brandon Roy and what Brandon Roy could have been.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean?
I think Brandon Roy. Here's a hot take. I think Brandon Roy could have been top 15 in scoring all time if his knees wouldn't have failed him. I really do believe that.
I'm not going to argue with you. Brandon Roy was incredible.
Incredible.
That's why I brought him up. You know, I feel like he's in that same vein with Penny, where you know they both had some pretty significant injuries that derailed their careers very, very early.
Their knees failed them. I mean, Brandon Roy is a prime example of that. That dude's body literally gave up on him.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I used to love watching him play, dude, because he was so like I love Devin Booker because he reminds me so much of Brandon Roy in his prime. They're kind of their styles are kind of one and the same, where the offense runs through them with or without the ball, right? Phoenix is in that boat. That's why they have one of the best records they have the best record in basketball. It's because Devin Booker is able to do so much without the ball, and he gets everybody else open. Brandon Roy was the same way when he was in Brooklyn. It was insane.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Glenn Robinson or Glenn Rice? Which Glenn did you like better?
So if we're speaking specifically on NBA Jam, I like Charlotte Hornets Glenn Rice better than Milwaukee Bucks Glenn Robinson.
That was exactly my. I hate you, dude. That's exactly what I was going to say. From downtown. That's like anytime I play with Glenn Rice, that's all I did was shoot threes.
Glenn Rice at NBA Jam was nuts. He was him and Larry Johnson together. You couldn't beat those two. I got it, Josh. Let me do a quick stat check here on these guys.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I would be really curious.
So Glenn Rice is a career 18 points a game, 46% field goal shooter, 4 boards, 2 assists. Now let me do Glenn Robinson, which I think is funny because I think both of them went to. Did Glenn Robinson go to Michigan too? No, he went to Purdue. But it's funny because Glenn Rice and Glenn Robinson both had juniors that both played in the NBA. I don't know why my head just went there, but
I'm not going to question it.
I don't know. Glenn Robinson, career 20.7 points per game. Oh, an identical field goal percentage, by the way. Identical, both of them. It's just that Glenn Robinson played in like 300 or less games.
So overall, the more consistent player
Look, if
was
I'm letting the
Rice.
stats talk, I'm yes, in terms of longevity, but in terms of purely looking at statistics, it's Glenn Robinson.
I would have guessed that wrong.
He's right though. Me too. I mean those years where Glenn Robinson was in Milwaukee when they were pretty terrible, and it was just him and Ray Allen. I mean, they were probably 45 to 60% of their scoring a night.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
big dog.
Oh man.
That's great question. That's a great question.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say is awesome question, man. That I do enjoy talking basketball, and I wish some days Wednesdays weren't my off day, but gotta have one night a week where I can shut it all down for a minute. But
maybe we could do a little switcheroo in the near future where I jump on Thursday and you jump on Wednesday.
Maybe.
Yeah, we could probably make that happen.
We'll talk it over. We'll talk it over, or maybe I just suck it up and get on a Wednesday at some point, and we just all four talk basketball. I know, Josh. I know. I'm trying to balance work and my video game stream and and this and the personal life, and it's a lot to balance sometimes. And getting to the gym, you know,
it's tough.
Cleaning the house, meal prepping. You know, there's a lot to get Josh on here. Oh my God, I'd have to get him fucking litty titty to get on here. It'd be pretty funny though. It'd be pretty funny.
It would have to be through Warzone, right? Like so hear me out. Here's my idea. All right, hear me out.
I'm listening.
So we do an in the post where you and Josh are playing Warzone, and we're just grilling Josh with questions.
Okay, I'm down.
He doesn't have to show face. He's already comfortable because he's playing a video game he plays 7 days a week. He's with you. We just get him on there. Because I got to tell you, last Wednesday when or a couple weeks ago, we were throwing people in the ring for guesses. Your brother was pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And the dude is a wealth of knowledge in basketball.
Yeah, he's very good when it comes to that stuff for sure. I'd say that's where a lot of his knowledge lives is on the court. But yeah, no, we'll do something. We'll do something, Josh, to accommodate that request. Let me get on this live stream if it happens. All right, man. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, for those that are interested, I play Call of Duty. The channel is on Facebook. Bobby Slay, 2 Ys. If you ever want to stop by and check it out, please do. But yeah, I think that's all we've got for tonight, guys. Josh, everybody, Jeff, Ryan, Will, everybody, Corey, Bruce, everybody that came in tonight. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for participating. You guys make the Town Hall Tuesdays what they are. You make them fun, giving us things to talk about, and obviously, back and forth banter like this always makes it a good time for both parties. So, we will be live tomorrow night, 8:30, with Corey, Todd, and Sir Aaron, talking some basketball. Make sure you stay tuned for that, and we will see you guys then. Have a wonderful evening. Much love, baby.